Today is the day of the hop harvest. That's what we're looking at. So I'm just wondering how to go about this, because there's obviously hops in the top, so I'm thinking I will just pull off all the low hanging ones here that I can reach, and then I'll go up to the top and I'll just loosen that and let them fall to the ground, and then I get the top one. So let's do it. So it's the same basically as last year, isn't it? It's basically just pulling them off like that. It's actually about a couple of weeks later than last year, just because the weather was so outrageously terrible, which has meant that some of them have turned a bit brown like that. Most of them are good. They're starting to go there as well, so yeah, it needs to be today. So yeah, how easy it is to pull them off, just like that. Easy. Okay, this is just the size. Still need to pick some of them brown ones out. 400 grams there, and then whatever's in there. Let's have a look. About another 200 grams. Well, yeah, about another 200 grams. So that's just the size. I've still got the holler tie to go. So, and I'm using this little tiny thing. I've given up on the wet top brew because I'm not in any kind of fit state to do it today. Don't have time basically, so yeah, this could take a while. Okay, so everything's packed up. I was using the dehydrator, so it took like it takes about 6 hours normally in that thing. I'm kind of moving. There's about 5 or 6 layers, and then every hour I'm just like moving one layer down, taking the bottom one and putting it to the top, and keep rotating like that. It takes about 6 hours for them to become like paper dry. So it turned out those 3 batches altogether. I know it didn't take too much footage of that. So those 2 batches of the size, which was like 600 grams, and there was, then the next day I picked the holler tie, and then the next day I dried the holler tie. So of the size, this is what we ended up with. 187 grams, which is I'm quite happy about. There is a bit more brown in there than I would like, but it couldn't be helped. I wasn't about to pick through them. There's still plenty of the yellow lupulin, but yeah, I think I picked the hops kind of like about a week late, to be honest. But as I said before, it's the weather. The weather over here was just terrible. It's terrible. In fact, for the entire month of August, it was terrible. You'd get a couple of days of good weather, and then it's been shit again. So that's the size, 187 grams. That's not too bad. It's not too bad. The holler tie, this is what we have. 94 grams. Now that is a massive uplift on what we got last year. It was very, very poor last year. I think it was something like 11 grams or something like that last year that I ended up with the holler tie, which then I just threw it in with a size because it was so pathetic. But 94 grams this year, which is, I'm quite pleased about that. So that's not too bad. That should get me at least 1 brew. Now I obviously don't know what the acid levels are on this, but I'm gonna guess that it's in around 3%. I think so. Who knows? I'm curious to know how they actually measure that. Anyway, I'm sure there's some kind of science behind it, but I have absolutely no idea how they do that. So forgetting about brews for the time being, so I'm gonna just do them at my leisure. So in terms of next year's hops, so next year's third year is supposed to be the year where you get your maximum yield on harvest, the full harvest. So I still need to improve a few things. There's things that went well, things that didn't go so well. Let's say, so first of all then, the first thing I did this year was to expand the ground area around the plant and pull it up and put the border in. that kind of worked. It did kind of work. It was an improvement on last year, but it wasn't kind of totally, didn't totally improve the situation. So I'm thinking maybe I could do something next year. Maybe just pull up all the grass, because it was still growing and I was still trying to get in and round it with the lawnmower. So I didn't have any kind of accidents like I did last year with that, or the strimmer or anything like that. But I did, it was a bit of a pain in the arse, to be honest. So I'm thinking about doing something else. Maybe I'll pull it up all together, all that, and just have soil in there from, you know, all the plants. Maybe just put the bark down to keep the weeds off. I could do that, or maybe I was thinking maybe putting like a border, like a wooden kind of, like a big bit of wood, and just make a border like you would with a, you know, a raised flower bed or something like that. You'd have wood around it, you know, that type of thing. I haven't decided yet. We will think about that over the winter, and then we'll come back with a plan next year. The second thing then was the kind of lines that I had. So I had the zigzag over the fence, which works fantastically well. I didn't have, other than with the one that fell down, didn't have any problems at all this year. And there was some kind of days where it was like really high winds. And as I say, I live over beside the loch, and that's like a big wide open body of water, and you know, it's kind of windy all the time here. So that worked well. So they were going up over the top of the garage, and then the kind of line at the top of the garage here, that also worked really well, apart from the kind of the masking tape falling off. Use cable ties basically. We'll know that for next year. The only thing then is that one of the lines, if you remember, when I went on holiday and I came back and then I did my whole knee and I couldn't really walk for like 2 weeks, and then I couldn't get up on the ladders to look and see what was happening, and you know, it kind of got caught, one of the bines got caught into the gutter that's up at the edge, and it kind of started winding round and got all bent out of shape and all. I would like to come up with a solution whereby that I could just bypass the gutter altogether. So if I can get a way to raise it, I still want to use the fence, because that does give it a good bit of support as it's growing, but I need to like raise it over that gutter somehow. I'm not sure how yet. We might have to engineer a solution to that. Okay, so lastly then was, I was doing some pruning on that in one of the videos, and I kind of pruned down the Saz hops, but I think I could have probably pruned them down a bit more, because it was like a bullshit. It was like the two main Saz plants that were going crazy. They were going crazy up, but they produced plenty of like cones, but when I saw the effect that the Hallertau had, which was the one that I kind of accidentally pulled apart and I'd given up on, and then it suddenly sprouted and just exploded with cones, and so we got 94 grams of cones from the Hallertau, and it was like the most pathetic of all the plants, and yet we got only 187 of the Saz, which are doing amazing. So it shows that, I think that shows that the pruning really did have an effect, because that basically I hadn't given up on it, but I wasn't expecting an awful lot, because it basically accidentally pruned them, and you know what, it probably was the best thing for it, because the ones that came after it, just when the cones came out, it just fucking exploded with cones. So that might be a thing I might try next year with the Saz, and just those kind of purpley shoots that come out, cut the first ones down, and maybe even the second ones will cut down, and because they still keep coming all the time, and maybe just hold your nerve and then just wait for the kind of the third wave to come, which is going to have loads and loads of hops in it. So hopefully, hold your nerve, that's the thing, you know, well, you got to do it. So yeah, there's a lot for me to ponder over the winter time, and we'll be back for year 3 of the hops, which I'm very much looking forward to. But yeah, I'm hoping that, as I say, I don't know what I'm going to brew with these as yet. I'm not sure when I'm going to brew it either. I don't know whether it's going to be this side of Christmas or next year. I would like to do it sooner rather than later because I'm really curious to know what it tastes like. I hope that they're not going to taste like fizzy cabbage soup by the time it's finished, and it is going to taste like hops, like proper beer should taste. But we'd have to wait and see, so all I can say is watch this space. Happy Homebrew Wednesday, and I'll see you next week.